We are maybe hour and a half later. Finally got this transmission draining because I've been looking for the drain plug forever. Because, you know, it's supposed to be there, but it's not. So apparently, it's here on the rear of the output shaft, which that's really the only other place you can remove it anyways, because But the thing is, it's not going to drain all the way. It'll drain most of it, but not all of it. That's dumb. Anyways, okay, so I looked at the numbers on the side of this transmission, and it appears to be a 1962 B79. 63. Appears to be a 63 transmission. It might actually be out of a vet. So this is a 327 motor. This motor and transmission might be really out of a vet. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows where this stuff came from? I haven't really looked up the numbers on the motor yet. So I finally got this draining, get as much of this out as I can, and got to get this side plug off because that one's on there pretty good too. So I'm going to change the transmission fluid. I'm going to change the fluid in the rear end, and adjust the brakes and see if I can get the gas gauge working. That's what I'm trying to do today. Okay, that job is done. It's now full. Hopefully the G4 stuff, G5 stuff is the right stuff. It's the right viscosity, and it's multi-purpose. I would imagine it's going to be okay. Another thing I noticed, it's got these weird hangers for the exhaust. I thought it was just some rinky-dink thing, but they're actually both like that, and it goes through the floor. So I don't know why those hangers are there. Could have been maybe when it was getting installed, because there's nothing holding them in front when there's when you're by yourself. So maybe that's what the issue is. The rear end had plenty of fluid in it. I took the cap off and it started just pouring out, so it doesn't need any rear end fluid. And you know, it wouldn't hurt to change it, but that is not the plan right now. So next are brakes. The passenger side is fine. The driver's side is loose. That one back there, the rear driver's side, also locks up way too soon. So I need to jack up the rear end too and just double check those and see what's going on. And while I got the rear end jacked up, I will also look at the gas gauge, because I have that. It's not even hooked up in the back. I don't know why. I mean, I haven't even messed with the gas gauge apparently yet. Something else I just noticed, both sides of these coils looks like they've been heated up so that they compress. So someone did that to it as well. So that's definitely modified. But the front brakes are adjusted, so let me go move on to the back. Alright, check it out. We got a tach gauge now. It's dark, but I've got it installed. So the 2 gauge cluster, I can't really mess with that right now, because to undo it, I don't think there's a way to undo that without having to tear the whole thing apart, especially on that temperature gauge, because it goes all the way to a hard cable into the block, into the freeze-out plug. So I really don't want to mess with that. So I'll just add another gauge cluster next to that gauge cluster. So right now I just got this temporary single one, because that's all I need, and it works. Well, let me get a light up here. Oh, that, and then you can see it. Of course, I don't have the headlight hooked up to it yet. The choke I have all kinds of issues with. I'm still messing with that. But I drove the car around today, and it was mainly happy. So, yeehaw. So she's actually running really, really well. Hey, I wonder if I can turn this light on as it's... Oh, I can. There we go. There we go. So yeah, running great. Drove her around most of the day. Like I said, right now it's having an issue because that's actually the choke. I have to look at that choke and figure out, it doesn't seem to be opening up all the way like it's supposed to. I actually turned the fast idle screw back down 1 screw or one churn because it was a little bit too high. But once she warms up, I mean, I still haven't even messed with the secondary bowl yet. I don't know if that secondary pump's working. I noticed it was a little bit wet out of the top, so who knows, maybe that thing's overflowing. I don't know. I've got all kinds of stuff I need to look at first. But I've got a tach now, so I'm super excited to see what my RPMs are going to be like now driving around, because today's, like I said, the first day I've been able to drive it around. And then go from there. I got no lights. The only light I have is my interior light. No functioning gauges or no functioning lights in the gauge. And the only gauge that works in this whole thing is the speedometer. Odometer doesn't work. Fuel gauge doesn't work. Temperature gauge is not hooked up, so it's hooked up down to there. And everything else is not hooked up either. The heater, I gotta mess with that next. I would have drove it to church this morning, but when I got up, at 7 a.m., I looked out the window and it was all fogged up in here, and I don't have the defroster hooked up or windshield wipers. So I need a windshield wiper motor as well. But yeah, I'll put a standard heater in this car. Don't even want to mess around with a deluxe one, but I'll put a standard one in it. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to clean up, put this away. Yay! So this is the first day driving Girdy around. Okay, well, I just played with the choke for a little bit and adjusted it clockwise, so it was just barely closed. So I turned on the car and watched the choke physically open up almost all the way up by itself within a couple minutes, it seemed like. And so now the choke is completely open. It should be on the regular idle speed. And everything seems okay. I still haven't adjusted the secondaries yet, so who knows if those are even kicking in properly. I think it's the this little teeny tiny air cleaner junk is in the way. So maybe I'll get a bigger air cleaner for it, or the correct size, and that might, because it's so close right here on the linkage, I think that's what's been getting it stuck. So let's go see how this goes in a minute, I suppose. Alright, so I drove Girdy around a little bit more today. She's still running fine. I actually adjusted the carburetor. The secondary bowl had way too much gas going inside of it. The float level was all off. So, as soon as I took the sight plug off, it started pouring out gasoline. Adjusted it to the proper level, and now that weird stumble is gone. So it's actually accelerating much, much, much better now. I don't know if that secondary is opening the way it's supposed to, but at least it's not flooding now. So now my next chance, or my next thing I'm going to work on is the instrument gauge. I'm going to pull it out, see if I can see what's wrong with the odometer, and see if I can fix the fuel gauge. I guess I haven't got any video driving yet, so I just got the air filter on there now. So now I have a much larger size air filter, the same size that's on my other Holly carb on my truck. That works fine. Now there's not going to be any problem with the linkage getting in the way or anything like that. So there we go. Oh, that wasn't a stop. That's okay though. So here we are, driving around. She's a car. I forgot to hook the speedometer back up. Oops. And that brake light's not hooked up. Oh, and I gotta go. Okay, so got the light button back up. It works fine now. Tail lights are all working fine now. I even put on the plate. I finally got my classic plate for it, so that's installed now. I reinstalled my dome light bulb. It works now. It's shutting off. Maybe I just had the light turned on at the switch for some reason. Maybe that's what was wrong with it. Because there was one night where I was looking out my window and the dome light was on. I'm like, oh no. So that may be what was causing that. I also hooked up the light to that. So I hooked it up to the, there's a a wire right there. I think that's for the heater or something. So I just saw it was a gray wire and hooked up to it, and yep, that's a light. So now I've got lights here. I've got good lights in the dash now. So when it's dark enough in here, I can actually see the instrument cluster. Hopefully my speedometer is working right now. Both my blinker indicators are working correctly now. So that's working. The indicators are working. The blinkers on the outside are working. So I've got the car all put back together again the way it was. I also put in the Optima battery in it that I got from my dad, the Marine one. That red top one doesn't do anything at all. I think it's completely dead. And so now the next project is to be able to keep driving this car is to put the heater in. So now I've got to start digging through all those heater components and see what I even have, because I don't even exactly know what I got. So that's the next project. And one of these little lights, that light actually turns on when it gets night. So that's kind of cute too. So that'll help out when I put the heater all back together. Okay, step one in figuring out if the heater system works. Test the motor. When I bought this, it came with an extra fan. Or an extra motor that screws on the back, and they're not cheap. But when I plug this in, it works. You can hear that. It's working really well. So the motor works. Awesome. So now I gotta test the heater core, see if that thing is working right. So this is nice. This is in good shape. This is all original paint and everything, it looks like. So yeah, awesome possum. There's one component that works correctly. I have lots of extra parts. So I have a whole nother fan motor here. I don't know what that's out of. Someone must have been collecting parts. That is not out of the 56 from what I can tell. I pull up the assembly manual because I don't have a hard copy of it yet. The standard one, it doesn't look like that at all. Because it would be, looking at it like that, that looks like that's the air inlet. So it would be this direction is probably how that would be facing. Yeah, so this looks like this is, who knows what that's out of. That might be a 57 fully circulating one, deluxe heater. And this is how the other one looks, the one I have, because it's got this thing here that connects to get the outside air. So I need some kind of giant box, and it looks like it, and the defroster mechanism's in there. So I just need this big box thing. So let's see if that's in the trunk. See this and this, it's a completely different system. Huh. Did I get my 57 and 56 parts mixed up, or is this just all extra? I'm confused. What is going on here? So I think these are parts that go in the engine compartment for the deluxe on a 57. I don't know. So I don't even know if that's the right heater core. Let me go match up this heater core, see if it's the right one. Here it is. It's in box number 2. There's that big giant unit that has the heater core inside of it. Yay. So there it is. So this is, I think this is, because I got 57 controls in here too. Did I get my bins mixed up? Maybe this is all the stuff that I got to put a deluxe heater in my 57 for parts that I've been accumulating over time. I honestly don't know what this stuff is. So, but yay, there's the stuff for the 56. I know what this stuff is now. This is for my 1957. This is the deluxe heater set that I pulled out of my parts car that I had. That was at 210. So before I sold it, I must have pulled out all the components that I needed for a deluxe heater to put that in my 57. So that's what all this stuff is. So this got mixed up somehow with my 56 stuff because, got too many tri-5s and I can't keep all this stuff straight. That's the one that I must have got from Randy when I bought this car, when I bought Girdy. So this stuff will go back in the shed. I'll label it 57 recirculating heater. Or actually deluxe heater. This is in really good shape. It's still got the factory stamping on it. Look at that. 56. It's got a date on it. Or that's a part number. Don't know. Harrison. But yeah, I guess it's got the original paint on it and everything. Oh man, if this core is good, I'll be set. I'll have everything I need. Except for the controls. Those are jacked. But I'll be able to at least get it to work probably. Alright, here I am still in the process of trying to hook up the heater core. So that fitting's bigger, but I was able to get the 5/8 hose on it. This one wasn't even close at all. It must be 3/8 or some giant size. So I took it out, bought the right fitting. Now it shucks, or you know, whatever it's called now, O'Reilly's, and got, you know, lost all my coolant because, you know, I couldn't get the what do you call this thing? A bucket? I'm frustrated. I couldn't get the bucket underneath it. I got coolant all over the place. It's just going terribly poorly. So now I got the right connections. Now I'm going to hook it up, put it together, make sure that the heater core leaks or not. Or test it is, I guess, what I'm really up to. There. Finally, after all this time, got it hooked up now. So as soon as the thermostat opens, the rest of the coolant will start coming through, and I'll be able to verify this thing under pressure. And I want to have it in the real system with the, hopefully this is the right pressure cap, because these things are only 11 pounds or something like that. They're not 16. So yeah, we'll see. Let's check this thing out and see how it goes as soon as it starts warming up. Well, there's my answer. Don't even have the cap on yet. You can see that there's coolant leaking. Oh, poo. That's a setback. Nah. All right, here we are, try number 2. So I took this to a radiator shop, and they pressure tested it, excuse me, at 18 pounds, and they said it was completely fine. Recommended to change that. They were going to charge me 15 bucks. I said go ahead, and they still didn't do it, so whatever. But theoretically, this should be fine. The one thing he did repair was the bend that was in the tube, so maybe that's where it was leaking before. So I'm going to let this thing heat up, but it's running pressure through it now, and it's not leaking. Yeah, it's already warm. Yeah, that's already warm. So it should be fine. Especially 18 pounds. What? Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I've got the heater box installed and the clamps down, and I got them tightened down enough where there's no more leaking anymore. I do have 2 extra holes down there in the bottom. Don't know what those are for. I put this license plate back because I'm like, what is this big giant hole for? And then I just realized as I was going to put the motor in that's where the motor mounts. So I got to take that back off again, and then the motor will mount right there where that hole is. So I'm going to remove that and screw it in, and then I'll be ready to test this bad boy out. Well, here we are. First night drive with Girdy. There we go. So the headlights work, dash lights work. Is my speedometer working? Speedometer's still not working right. It was working. I don't know what came undone. And, dun-dun-dun, the heater now works too, so I know you can't see anything. But the heater's all hooked up down here, running and going. So I'm just gonna drive around the block, I suppose. And Speedometer's still not working. I don't know what's going on with that, but everything else seems to be working. Still don't have windshield wipers, but we're getting there, man. We are getting there. I just did a GPS test. My speedometer says 20, and the GPS said 20, so maybe it is working again. Right on. It just feels like I'm going a lot faster than it says, but she's really driving around. I gotta switch gears. Put it first. There we go. But yeah, look at this. We got a car, baby. We have everything that a car is except for windshield wipers. I can feel the heat. So the defroster's hooked up, outside air is hooked up. Kind of. You know, the gaskets, there's no gaskets in there, so it's got some leakage for sure. I can just put some tape around it or something later, but it doesn't matter. It is at least working. It's better than the standard heater that I have in my 57. Cool. Here we are, first night driving the car. Okay, so let's turn on the heater just so I can demonstrate it. So, high. Yay! So you can hear that. And then look at this, even low works. Right on. So I don't have any of the cables or anything hooked up. I just have it on full defrost. I mean, that's good enough. I mean, that's really, really good enough. So see right here, there's a big gap where the fresh air inlet comes in. That needs to be better to get more of that outside air. But holy moly, I mean, it's gonna do something. I could just put tape around that. There's a thing I have in the trunk that goes around that, I bet. So I can just pull this motor off and put it back on and fix it correctly later. But there's low, and I don't know if you noticed. I'll have to shut this light off. But even when I turn on, the, you can barely see it. It's so bright. Oh, let me do that. But there are lights on this. You can't see it on this. There's lights on that. I know you can't see it, but there's a light in there. You can see it when it's dark. But right on. So now, headlights work. Door lights work. So I got my door light. My dome light works. These don't have lights down there. They never did. I got to figure out something for that. I honestly don't know how I'm going to fix that because I need to see my temperature. But yeah, we're really making some progress. This thing I can almost drive around. I just need windshield wipers, tires, and you know I gotta get the locks so I can lock the car. Still have to do the weather stripping. Most of it I already have for free in the trunk, so I'll just grab that. And I got the glue for it last week. I could just start gluing that the rest of this weekend maybe. And yeah, we got ourselves a car. Right on. So just some more money for tires and the motor. And getting these locks keyed. Yeah, cool. All right, here I am on day 2 of finishing up this door. Putting the weather strip on it. Yesterday I Scotch-brighted the surface underneath. Took off all the old stuff. It's amazing how well the old one works when it's just held on by clips. There was a piece of it around here somewhere. It's like it's got wire inside of it. Yeah, it was here somewhere. I don't know. But anyways, the original one is held on just with clips, and it's got a wire support system. So that's why these aftermarket ones you have to glue on, and it takes forever to glue these things back on. So I started on it yesterday, got almost done, had a friend came over, and by the time she got over here, I was already frustrated, and I just wanted to be done. So I just needed to do this little part from, this 25%, and that was easy. I busted that out in 10 minutes. So this all up here and down around the bottom, that's all dry. This will be dry tomorrow. I got most of it done pretty good. A couple of these inside spots need to get a little closer, so that's what I'm doing right here. So that part will be better by tomorrow. Those little gap right below it, I'll do the same thing on that tomorrow, so then that will be another day. But you really got to take your time with this stuff because I tried to hurry it on my 57 and it just never worked right. So I'm just going to do it a bit at a time. This J seal, it's still here, and same thing. It's just held on with these clips, and that's it. So I put some glue here on the top. It probably needs to be replaced, but good enough for now. I'm guessing it's just the pressure that holds that in is why it's just glued on. The back door, it's a bit interesting. There's a story back here, and I don't know what that story is. So this back door, it's been painted. It's been painted all the way around, and cleaned, and it has the weather stripping on it, but obviously it's not glued down, so it's not gonna work. So I'm going to pull all these rivets back out and start gluing it back together. Maybe get half of it done today. It just depends on how much I get done. But yeah, I'll start the process on this and then finish this door tomorrow and then that door tomorrow, and this whole side will be done. And then I got enough of this free rubber to do that door. I don't think I have enough to do that door because I was thinking maybe these doors have been replaced, but no, they're not. It's just this is the only one that's been painted like this. I don't know why. Very strange. But anyways, that's where I'm at. Working on Girdy. So weather stripping. Yay. Okay, here we go. Girdy progress report for today. So started doing the weather stripping on the other side. I was doing it way more methodically. I was doing like 2 or 3 sections at a time, and it worked much better because the glues, you put it on both sides, let it dry for a second, and then adhere it, and then it seems to stick really, really well. So I've got the easy parts, the outside part of both this door and the back door done. I still need to do the insides. The reason why I didn't do that is because I can't open the door all the way because my other car is here. So I need to, I don't know, I guess I'll wait till tomorrow and either scoot the car over or drive it in backwards. I don't know. So I'll just worry about that part later. Got some more stuff out of the trunk, some more parts. I also have enough weather stripping, so I have a whole nother piece of, no, that's for the trunk. That's the trunk weather stripping. So, and I don't think I have enough of it to go around the trunk, but I don't know. There was an extra part. So the other thing I did was start putting together the trim on the inside. So I have this extra piece of trim. So this is the piece that goes like that next to the driver's side of your head. So that part has been, redundant. And it might be because that pillar, I guess it's called the A-pillar up there, that piece, it didn't fit quite right. The part over there, the passenger side, it fit just fine. Driver's side didn't. So maybe that's what that green piece is for. Is it's not some weird miscellaneous piece. It's actually a replacement for that. That is entirely possible because I couldn't get it on there quite right. It's all bent up. So that might be what that piece is. So I put the black one on it for now. I'll hang on to the green one. So that's all put together inside of here now. So now I got this trim going all around the window like it's supposed to be. I mean, it's not like it looks better in here, but it's better. That piece is missing. Can't flip it. So I'm missing the middle piece. Don't know where that is. Might be somewhere in the car. I put the sun visors up. So those are up. Sunglass clip now. So now I've got sun visors in the car. They're installed. They work. I cleaned all the extra fiber and stuff that was still attached to them off. So those are good now. The back seat's nice and cleaned out. So there we go. So I still need to mess with the light. That's a piece that I have down there that I'm going to mess with later. And I believe that is all the... I also put the stick shift mechanism on, the cover, and it gets in the way of my stupid beverage container thing. So that's a bum deal. So that's not permanently mounted at all. It's just, basically screwed into the carpet just to see what it would be like. So that makes this unusable. So I'm not too happy about that. So I either have to get a different coffee cup maker or a different a cup holder. A different cup holder or something. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. The idea I had for getting lights on this, just put a light right here in the middle and have it stand up on a stand and shoot straight down, kind of like just like on my Jeep. So maybe I'll buy one of those Jeep lights and drill holes through the center of that mount, through the middle of those two gauges, and surface mount something on that. So that's really all I got done on the car. I've been out here for hours. I think I spent 3 hours on her today. This side is just about done. So the back side's all new. The front side is the first time, so I still need to redo the front, and I need to redo or finish the fronts on the other side. So I'll do that tomorrow if there's time. And then there won't be really that many more parts in the trunk except for some trim. Yeah, I'm making progress, so I'll mess with maybe that trunk seal, measure that out, but I seriously doubt I have enough of that to make it fit. But if I did, wouldn't that be great? And then what else do I need for this car to make it drive? Oh, windshield wipers. Still haven't done anything with the windshield wipers. I don't think I have a motor anywhere. I haven't bumped into an extra windshield wiper motor. I doubt I have one, but we'll see. Okay, I wanted to document this because this is probably the last one of these I'm going to see for a while. So this is the original piece, and notice it's just set in there. I mean, I found some glue around the corners. I don't know if that's been reapplied or if that's original or not, but most of it is just held in place because there's a solid wire that goes to this entire thing. So it just pops right off. Wiggle, wiggle. See, look at this. Look how easy this thing comes off. Well, mostly. Oh, there's my screwdriver. Way over there, of course. Got the front door done. And I was waiting to do the back door last. It actually looks like this is going to be so much easier. Because look, I can get... Oh, I did all that and it wasn't recording. Conflab it. So I had all the original weather stripping on there. It all pulled off in one piece. What I wanted to show you was how it's got a wire inside of it, and that wire helps to keep the pressure down in between where these grooves or where they snap in. Because the new one is just junk. It's just junk, and glue, and it just doesn't seem to work right. I don't think this thing was really glued in at all, and if it was very sparingly, because I did find some grooves, some glue around the corners of the door. I don't know if that's OEM or if someone did that later when it came loose or something like that. But now it'll be easy to knock that out, so I'm just going to Scotch-Brite the inside parts here, Scotch-Brite all this, and wipe it off with grease and wax remover, and then put it on and be easy peasy. What I started doing with the front door that really helped out a lot is these stupid clips have these raised things in them that probably are supposed to, if I can just hold this thing and focus. So it's got these dumb clips, and these stupid clips, I've got so much in the background, I can't focus. Can't focus. I can't hold it and focus it. Maybe if I go like that. Anyway, so it's got little dimples on it, so you push it in and it holds it. I just been flattening them out. I just get a screwdriver and go, or a pair of pliers and smash these all down, and then they slide in much easier because they're really not holding anything in because the damn thing's held on by glue. I'd just rather have them be a guide, and then once they're in there, the glue does a good job. So do glue both sides, let it sit for a second. What's been doing really good for me is to wipe it on both sides with my finger and then wait like maybe 10-15 seconds, and then it just seems to adhere really, really well doing that. So, last little bit of this door, and I'll be done for the day.